Hey guys, Hugh Sheng here. Welcome to another Hugh Sheng Tutorials video. In this video, we're going to be looking at a game between Manu Lork, a Terran player, and Stefan. And these guys are playing at about the D2 to D1 level, I believe. So a pretty high level game. And what I want to do today is just kind of break this game down, see where these players are making mistakes, see where they're going right. In the past, for analysis series, I've been looking at just one player, and I think what I want to try and do for this game is break it down for both sides. So whether you're a Protoss or a Terran, you're getting some good advice. So it looks like Manu Lork is opening up with a Rax first into gas, whereas Stefan is going for a gate into gas. So pretty standard stuff. Maybe the Manu Lork's opening is a little more important. If they go Rax first, that means that they are going to get a Marine, whereas if they go gas first, their intentions are to skip that Marine and go straight into the reactor. So if you want at high level play, you can actually click on the gas, see if it's a gas first or Rax first, and then if it's a gas first, later on you can abuse the SCV making the command center. Okay, looks like he's got a pretty good setup here. One SCV to defend the probe, one SCV to make the command center. And then generally the one that defends the probe makes the depot. Good stuff, you can tell which one's the student. Okay, Stefan grabbing his second pylon. So this is actually already a small blunder. Well, also a major blunder. The small blunder is that the gas is supposed to come first. So this should have been a 21 gas and a 22 pylon. But instead, the Protoss got the pylon first and then the gas. And so if you go Nexus first, you want to be going gas and then pylon. And so that's a small blunder. The major blunder is the pylon's not down here. And it's much better to put your pylon down here, because if Manu Lork decided to go for some Hellions, which it's not clear if he's doing that just yet, then you need the wall to defend against that. Actually, I want to go back a little bit. Spoilers, game length. But it seemed like Manu Lork, yes. Okay, Manu Lork did make a blunder as well. So normally, Rax first, you want to be going Marine here, but he went straight into Reactor. You shouldn't be able to afford this because your factory is supposed to come first. So it should have been factory, Marine, and then Reactor. So a little small blunder there as well. So both players are making some small mistakes near the game. This is pretty common around Diamond. Not perfect openings or build orders. But I mean, everything's looking pretty good. Let's see if Manu Lork can get some good scouting. Stefan should be dropping his tech soon. Okay, he's going for Twilight. Let's see what he can get done here. Ooh, there's a hole in the wall. Okay, nice. So he gets that scouting info. I would just save the Reaper here. No reason to lose that. And he does. Awesome. Back at home, we still haven't figured out what tech he's going for, but we'll see in a second. Stalker. This is pretty standard. I mean, we might see DTs from this, or we might see Blink Stalkers, probably the most standard openings. I doubt we'll see anything crazy like Adept or Charge, because usually if you want to do some sort of crazy all-in, you're also going to get a Robo. And that hasn't happened, so most likely not going to be something like that. And Manu Lork, so it looks like Manu Lork's going for the Mine Drop. Still making Marines. So in this position, you can definitely cut these Marines. You don't need these. You could get these with some other builds if you wanted to do a push, or you wanted to get a 30cc or something, and you wanted some more Marines, but for this type of build, the Mine Drop, you really don't need these extra Marines. In fact, it's actually safer to get your extra 2 barracks first, because usually what you need is Marauders, not Marines. And so the delay on these extra racks is actually making you more vulnerable, which is super counterintuitive. Okay, Robo going down. So this is just like a standard Blink Stalker Robo build, I suppose. Everything's looking good. Both players actually have pretty decent macro. Nobody's made any nobody's got any supply blocks yet or anything like that. Nice defense here with the stalkers. Although kind of weird the positioning. Like, I mean, it worked out, but it would have been a lot easier if Protoss just had all his stalkers right here instead. Maybe the fear was the drop, but as a Protoss player, you should know that there can't really be a drop before 4:30 as long as they've opened with a normal CC. 16 probes, third base. So this is kind of okay, but it's also pretty non-standard. Usually you want to get this third gas so you can actually afford some tech. This is more like Roddy style. Oh, he did get a third gas and a fourth gas. Interesting. Hopefully he's not playing like a double forward style, because you only want 3 gas with a double forward style. 4 gas is a bit too much. Okay, the transition's taking place. Again, this is pretty late just because of the Marines early on. You do have more Marines, of course, but you don't have these upgrades as quickly. So your push is going to be delayed, and then you have less Marauders as well. And since this guy's opening Blink Stalkers, the Marauders are pretty nice. Okay, Colossus. Yeah, so this actually does make sense if you want to go for 4 gas. So that's good. Although I would switch the order a little bit. Like, I think this forge is less important than the Robo Bay. Good pull. Oh no. Save the medevac. Okay, a little bit of a blunder there. You do get 2 stalkers though, so definitely worth it. But yeah, if you could shift this medevac maybe through here and then on the minimap back home, that would give you the time to focus on the mines, which is, I think, is what happened here, is you were control clicking your mines and burrowing them, which is definitely something you want to be doing. But if you shift the medevac, then you don't need to control it anymore, and so you can focus your attention on those Widow mines and save the medevac. Okay, stim combat coming in, Marauders. One thing that I think is good if you're playing against Blink Stalkers and not Stargate or Robo is to go, actually Robo as well, is go concussive first before combat, because as you move out, you want to be able to tag their units and slow them down. You're not as concerned about the combat shield until the battle. So I feel like that's a better choice. But everything looks good here. And you know that Protoss has a third, so this is a good move out. Let me check your vision. Pretty good time as well. Honestly, this looks pretty great. Let's see how this fight goes for you. He is playing Colossus, so it's gonna require you to have a good spread here. And I'm not sure you know he's playing Colossus either, so you don't have any reactions set up. But let's see how this goes. Okay, not sure why you took this really long route. Maybe you're thinking this is more open. You can definitely come up this ramp though. Like, the earlier you come up the ramp, actually, the better, because he's not gonna have enough units. If you come really late, then it's gonna feel bad because he's gonna have a lot of stuff. But if you come up early before he has this Colossus, then you easily get in this position because he'll just give you it. He'll just back up, knowing he doesn't have enough units to fight you. Okay, so you come in here. Honestly, this guy is not being too greedy at all, so there's no huge reason to fight him here. In this position, he's got 3 shield batteries set up, and they're gonna finish in time. And because you took this route, he has a Colossus. So honestly, what you should do here is just back up, and there's no reason to take this fight anymore. You could do a drop if he had opened Robo. Since he opened Blink though, he's pretty safe for this type of push. Or did he open Blink? He didn't open Blink, actually. Yeah, as soon as I saw the charge lots, I was like, he definitely didn't get Blink and charge. So from your perspective, if you see Colossus and charge lots, there's no way he can have Blink here. So you could go for a Doom drop right now, which is one of your best choices. And that's the weakness of this type of army, is he doesn't have any mobility. So this army is really good at fighting your army. And so this is very common in Diamond and even low masters, is players overmake the charge lots and the Colossus because they want to smash these fights. But at a higher level, like High Masters and GM, Terrans will not allow this. They will abuse the shit out of this army. Because this army can't keep up with Terran's mobility. Like, you could boost, fly over here, drop on the probes. He'll lose a bunch for sure. And his army is going to be like waddling over here. And then by the time it gets here, he's lost like 10 workers. You just pick up and go back here. And yeah, it's going to be a disaster for him. There's no way that he's going to be able to keep up. He's going to have to do like twice as many tasks as you, because he'll have to move these probes, put them back on mining, you know, warp in, move his army around. And so you're just like boosting back and forth and being a nuisance. So that's the way you want to do this. But, oof, ouch. Yeah, that was a rough mine hit. Always move back when your mines are about to shoot. There's nothing wrong with your control here. This is just a game understanding thing. So I think Protoss did a pretty good job of control. But you basically just need to realize that Protoss is investing way too much in this specific defense at this location when he has Colossus and Charge. And that's when you start making some plays like into the main, knowing he lacks mobility. Or just backing up. You can honestly just back up here too as well. Is like maybe the easier way to play it if you're not comfortable doing all those drops. Pretty good setup behind this though. You're going into Vikings. You're still making mines, which is not terrible because he's playing Colossus Charge Lot, but you want to be careful making too many. Like, you would much rather have a lot of Marine Marauder. Specifically Marauder, actually. And you're on 2 Reactor. Okay. This is okay. This is a good setup. 4 CC. Let's see what Protoss is doing. Lots of sentries. This is definitely a mistake. This is way too many sentries. There's no real benefit to having this many. Probably like 3 is a pretty good number. Maybe 4 if you're partying. 10 gates. Good amount of gates. Forge is not producing. He's probably going to fall behind in upgrades. So that's a bit of a mistake. Storm on the way. Yeah, so this is pretty good except for these sentries. If Protoss could get rid of these sentries, then he would be in a much better position with Storm. This Protoss though is getting way too far ahead of you. Ahead of Manulork, I mean. And the reason he's getting ahead is because he's never forced to make Stalkers. He's literally only making the best units that he wants. And so it's Terran's job to force the Colossus and these Archons to be Stalkers. Like, Protoss is not really supposed to have this awesome army right here. Because if you did decide to drop and hit these locations, he's just gonna fall apart real fast. Okay, 4 CC is complete. There's your Ghost Academy. You're getting more barracks. Too fast here. Okay, so normally the transition is 5 racks into 8 racks. You're going 5 into 7, I believe. Yep. So you want to go 5 to 8, and you don't really... Oh, you do actually have enough worker. Yeah, you want to get up to like 75 worker and a 4th before you add these extra barracks. Like, you're not supposed to be able to afford this. So it's okay if you're floating money, but you should actually be able to spend your money without that. Maybe part of it's you just started your Ghost. Okay, transferring around. Definitely transfer these guys instead of these workers. Forge, Stargate. Don't go Stargate ever as Protoss against Terran. Like, literally ever. It's so bad. It's really, really bad. The only Protoss at high level that I've seen do it is Mana, I think. And yeah, I think it's really, really weak compared to the style that everybody else is using, Mass Stalker and DTs, and just out positioning, because the Tempest costs way too much supply. Nice fight, actually. Nice control. Do you have these set up? 1 control group? Oh my god. Manulork. I would at least try to put the Vikings on their own control group. Or the Ghost on their own control group. One of these. Pick one. So you can have a little extra micro. Because right now, if he goes really Colossus heavy, in fact he is pretty Colossus heavy here, you're gonna have a hard time engaging him properly because the Vikings are supposed to go first. In fact, this guy's like no Stalkers still. So if you have a good number of Viking here, you easily wreck this army. This is a very bad balance for Protoss. But since you don't have a lot of Vikings, it's actually going to be very, very good for him. And it's going to be very hard for you to get these EMPs off before the fight as well, because you don't have them on a separate control group. So it's possible to EMP when he gets close, but it's going to be very tight because how close your ghosts are to the rest of your army. Like if your ghosts are here, for example, the High Templar can't storm your main army because the ghosts are in front. So if the ghosts are here, they can EMP and you can't get stormed. It's impossible. Whereas in this case, if you slip up for like half a second, then you're gonna get stormed and then EMP. And so that's gonna go very badly for you. Pretty good start to the fight. Yeah, your ghosts are on the far side. Are you trying to target Colossus? Yeah, Colossus targeting is a huge no-no. Maybe just with your Viking, but definitely not with your whole army. Your whole army should never target the Colossus in these big engagements. Okay, I think you played this game pretty well on the macro front. Like, there was a couple of mistakes I pointed out, but the real mistake here is that your army control at the end was not so great. So you want to maybe practice in the unit tester with another group on your Ghost or on your Vikings, and that'll help quite a bit. From the Protoss side, this guy's playing way too greedy and not getting like enough upgrades and stuff. So I don't think this guy's gonna get punished in PvT. This guy probably has a really high win rate in PvT, but once he gets to a higher level where Terrans are dropping him more, he's gonna get punished real fast. If you were setting up some drops over here and over here, this guy would fall apart in like 10 seconds. So that's what you want to do if you want to punish this type of player. But yeah, I think just mainly the army control at the end is what needs work. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.